Peace, family. The following is a clip from Rod Hayes. His latest episode. He has a show on my Patreon channel. The name of the show is We Are Mutants. This is the latest episode. It's called The Hidden Black Hand Who Created White Supremacy. Family, when I tell you this is one of the best videos I've seen Rod do, man, this is awesome. This was the information that we need to as we're entering into a new paradigm, into a new era of consciousness. So I want to thank Rod Hayes. This is explosive. To see the full video, you go to patreon.com/blackmagic363. Enjoy, family. My brother.
So first of all, the number one thing to understand about white supremacy is a military strategy. It's a military doctrine for conquest.
Mm-hmm.
Your understanding of white supremacy has nothing to do with the reality of white supremacy. So when we look back in history, the first entrance of a pale-skinned European called a Tamahu appeared on the scene 8,400 years ago.
80, okay.
All right. They wasn't here before that.
Okay.
So that means that all of the Neanderthals was melanated.
The original Neanderthals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when you hear these so-called woke brothers calling the pale-skinned Europeans a Neanderthal, he don't know what he's talking about. Because they was melanated like us, the Neanderthals. All right, the Cro-Magnon man was a species of hominid that popped up out of nowhere with exceptional intelligence, right? And the Cro-Magnon man was also a melanated being. When you go to the Far East, you got something called Gigantolopithecus, which was a melanated hairy being, right? When you get into South Africa, you have what's called Zinjalopithecus, which was an ancient Australoid bipedal human from South Africa. Zinjalopithecus is like saying Niggalopithecus, because Zinji is nigga in Arabic. So when we're looking at these ancient beings, all of them melanated until somebody comes on the scene called Tamahu. The catalyst for this traces back to the Sinai Peninsula. Mount Zion is Mount Zion, and Mount Zion is where they landed. So now your Bible testified, because they got to give you the opportunity in the free will universe to discover anything they're doing so that you can have the opportunity to say, I don't want to participate. Right? So they call us sinners. Do you know that sin is actually a deity? Sin is not a verb. It's a personal noun.
Yeah.
Yes. Sinners are the followers of Ninursin. Ninursin is a Sumerian scientist. The sinners are the ones that he created that couldn't ascend. They couldn't ascend because in the Human Genome Project, as they called it back then in modern English, it would be the Human Genome Project. It would be Lulu Amalu work order from Nibiru, which is the commission to create a sentient being to perform the labors of the ones who call themselves the gods. And they begin to create a different strain from the ones called San. The San was the actual original workers in the mines of Manodapa in South Africa, right? And they protectorates used to be the Zulu. The Zulu are the children of Enki, and they are supposed to protect the little people in Africa, that they call it Africa today, but it haven't been Africa for 400 years. Right? So even them telling us we came from Africa is a confusing concept in and of itself. But we need to get to How in the hell did some pale faces crawl out the caves and hillsides of Europe and conquer the gods?
Right.
Right? Now you hear all these Negroes talking about, I'm a god this, I'm a god that, ain't got no power. Got no power. You can say you a god, but if you don't do no god shit, don't nobody believe you.
Right.
It's like masturbating, feel good, but ain't gonna make no baby. Right? So when you're looking at it, it's not possible based on intellect alone. You need a superior intellect because an inferior is never going to outthink a superior thinker. It's not possible. Because everything that the inferior thinker is thinking about, the superior thinker already thought about it in the past tense. And as far as the inferior thinker's mind can go, it can only go as far as the information available to it. Right? And then if he don't know how to compartmentalize the information, then he won't be able to utilize the information. Right? So now we're talking about a God mind. We don't even know what a God mind is. Right? Because a God mind is totally psychic. Right? You're able to see multiple dimensions while you walk the face of the earth. You got a God mind. The rest of us, God minds, we can all communicate with each other through a series of natural phenomena in which butterfly effect. Right? So now, we supposed to accept this fact that some pale people crawled out of Europe 6,000 years ago, took over the world and subjugated all of the gods, the demigods, the great men of valor and renown that walked the face of this earth. Make it make sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
It don't make sense. It's not possible. The only way is it possible. It's only one viable way that an inferior mind can conquer a superior mind. And that's if the inferior mind is effective in following orders and they being told what to do by another superior mind, another God intellect. Okay, so now at what point do we get to that we find out what's going on? We have to start with Alexander.
Who we call Alexander the Great? That's what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah. Now the question is, why do they call him Alexander the Great? And there's dynasties of emperors that done greater things than him. So why is he the great? Why is he considered the conqueror? Okay, so look at his military exploits. Who was his wars against? He fought the Arabs in the Middle East. He fought the Huns, the Mongols, and then he fought the Vedics, or the Aryans, or the Hindus. When you get into India, they had something called a caste scroll, which is the definitive scroll of government on earth.
Where does this come from? The caste scroll.
The caste scroll is part of the hidden sutras or chapters of the Book of Earth. They got a whole series in Tibet. But the whoever holds the scroll of government gets to hold the government for the duration of the age. They had us thinking that the house nigga was a slave in the house. But all the time, the house nigga was a nigga that owned the house.
Man. Right, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Miss Ann them was his front faces, his figurehead, the CEO of his corporation.
Nah, come on, Rod. Nah, this is too.
You remember the Samuel Jackson in Django?
Django.
Yeah, he was the nigga that owned the slaves. That's why he like, who is this nigga on his neck?
Man.
Look, the big house used to be called Big Mama House. When they took over, they took Mama name off everything. We love our mamas. That's how they know us apart. We love our mamas like, motherfucker, I kill your whole nation over my mama. By myself with my bare hand.
Yeah.
right? They don't like that. Because if the mama sent 5 boys at you, 5 boys coming as a cohesive unit. But if a rotten bitch sent a guy at you, he coming on his own.
Mm.
That's what this show with Tyrese and Mark Wahlberg,
Yeah.
band of the 5 brothers.
Uh-huh.
That's what they're talking about.
Uh.
Because a lot of us don't have, like, our biological mothers might die at birth or get killed when we're young. And then somebody else, Big Mama, got to raise us. And Big Mama don't always look like we think she should look. But before we start interacting with Europe, Big Mama was called the Dark Mother or the Black Madonna. Madonna means young maiden. And the shrine of the Black Madonna conceals who she is, her position and rank, highest matriarch on the land.
Let me ask you this: what was their purpose? The Zionist Jews who control this corporation. Did Obama? Didn't Obama go into office?
He
What
one
year?
of them too.
He's one of them.
He was actually creating a test tube. He a test tube baby.
Obama.
Mm-hmm. They took the DNA from Akhenaten and cultivated it in a test tube to produce him. Y'all thinking cloning just started doing this shit since the early 1900s, since Tesla days.
So everybody used to say he was a reincarnation of Akhenaten, and
He's a
Obama
clone.
a clone. Yeah, but they said, oh man, I remember. I think the museum was in New York, and he went to go visit it or something like that. They had an exhibit of Akhenaten. Something happened where Obama went to see some exhibit of Akhenaten, and everybody was like, "Why is Obama going to see that exhibit?"
What you don't remember is when he got elected president, he disappeared for almost 2 months. Most people don't remember that. But they said right before he left that he had a scheduled trip to Egypt. And then they didn't hear nothing about it for about 2 months. Everybody, every day they were still celebrating Obama won, but Obama wasn't talking.
So Akhenaten was one of these Etruscans, or
No, Akhenaten, they wanted to use his genetics, but they wanted him to be controlled by them. His handler was George Herbert Walker Bush.
Obama.
Yeah. And his other William Jefferson Clinton handler was George Herbert Walker Bush. And Hillary Rodham Clinton handler was George Herbert Walker Bush. He put his whole team in the office consecutively until they ran into the Trump card, the Joker. Donald Trump was buck dancing. Remember how they used to make us do buck dance for him?
Yeah.
All the time he buck dancing, he doing everything we need him to do. So when they go in Mar-a-Lago, they're looking for something called 72 secret treaties.
Trump got it.
It set the continuity of government under the FEMA control now. National security issues is at stake.
But what, they took it from Trump?
No, they thought it was at Mar-a-Lago. It's in Raven Rock. They can't get it out of Raven Rock. You can't even get a warrant to go in Raven Rock.
So who got control over it?
It's given to the elders from the land because the 72 secret treaties is how we gonna get out of this shit. That's why they was kept secret.
So who's the elders of the land?